Hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial. Today I will be showing you how to make this beautiful cardigan in size medium. You can find the written pattern in the link below, and it comes with sizes extra small to 3XL. It is a perfect garment for any season. It has a minimal seaming, meaning the front and the back panels are worked as one piece. You make sleeves separately and they are worked in the round, then seamed to the panels. Let's talk about the materials we need to make the cardigan. Worsted weight yarn. I used a Pound of Love by Lion Brand. It's a category 4 weight yarn. I used about 1,200 meters for size medium. Tappet yarn needle, tape measure, about 3 stitch markers, 5mm hook, 6mm hook, and pair of scissors. Okay, we're gonna start with one side of the cardigan, the first front panel. For my size, I am going to chain 65. Okay, start with a slip knot. I'm going to make a foundation single crochet. So this is my first stitch. I need 65 of these, so do your chains and then we will meet up when I have the 65 chains. I have my 65 chains for my panel. Next, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And I'm going to make a single crochet on the first stitch and repeat across. Okay, I just finished my second row. Going to chain 1 and turn the work. Okay, and I'm repeating this row. It's single crochet throughout. And I need 32 more rows for my front panel. You can try the front panel in front to see how wide it is. We will meet back here after I'm done my 32 rows. I am done with my first front panel. We are moving on to the back panel. Because this is done in one piece, we now have to separate the back panel from the front panel and leave long enough space for the sleeves. I've already have a stitch marker here. This is the armpit depth, and my armpit depth, which is 7, and these are 23 stitches. Armpit depth, the way you do it is you measure from the top of your shoulder all the way down under your armpit. So we are going to leave this unworked when we move on to the back panel. And then we get down here. I want to have a pocket, so we are going to work 5 stitches. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5, and I'm going to make a stitch mark here. And we are having a pocket opening, and I want 15 stitches altogether. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, and then I'm gonna put another stitch marker over here. Okay, so what's gonna happen is we are going to have 5 stitches worked here. We skipped 15 stitches. We are going to chain 15 stitches, and then from here all the way down, so all the way up here, which is to our armpit area. That's when we are going to work stitches on here, and then chain the rest of the way to match the number of stitches here. So I've got 22 stitches here. After this, I'm going to chain 23. I'm saying 23 because we are going to have a turning chain. Okay, I've already done my I've already chained 1, so I'm working single crochet stitches. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. We skipped 15 stitches. Okay, now next I'm chaining 15. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Okay, I've got 15 chains. I've got 15 stitches here, and then on the 16th I work a normal stitch, single crochet. I'm going to do that until I reach the stitch marker. Okay, I have reached my stitch marker. Next I am going to make the same number of chains that we have for this one. I counted my stitches. I've got 23 instead of 22, so I need to chain 24. Okay, I have my 24 chains. Next I am skipping the first chain because it is our turning chain, and I'm going to make a single crochet on the second stitch. I am done with the first part of the cardigan. This is the first panel. Because we are making our cardigan as one piece, we are now moving on to the back panel. I have stitch markers here. Now I'm going to explain what these are for. These two markers here, we are going to leave this unworked because it's a pocket hole. We're going to have a pocket. And then here, from here, this is the top of the panel. This is the sleeve open, and this is where our sleeve is gonna be. And measuring half of my armpit depth, which is the top of, from the top of the shoulder to the armpit, it's 7.5. So the circumference, that's 15 inches. So here is just the half of that. And there it is, that's 7.5. And in here I have 24 stitches. Okay, and for the pocket I have 15 stitches between this one and the next stitch marker. All right, so if I've already chained one, I'm going to make a single crochet on the first one, three, 4, 5. Okay, now we need to chain 15 to make up for the missing 15 stitches that we are going to leave open here. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, I've got my 15 chains, and then on top of this one, this is where I'm gonna make my stitch. And then work my normal as my pattern as normal. Just make single crochet until I get to the next stitch marker. I have reached my stitch marker. Now I'm going to chain the same number of, well, make chains to equal the same number of stitches here. All the stitches, they got 24, so I'm going to chain 24 plus 1, which will be my turning chain. Okay, So I have my 25 chains. I am done the panels. This is the front one, the pocket number 1, back panel, and then the second one. Okay, and next we are moving on to our sleeve. Moving on with our tutorial, I've already done the first sleeve here, so I'm going to explain how I did this. So first, this is done in the round, okay, and if you see, it gets tapered going down towards the wrist, so you have to do some decreases along the way. First, you measure your armpit depth from the top of your shoulder up under your armpit. Mine is 7.5 inches, okay, and this is where it is, but because this is a circumference, we do 7.5 times 2, then you get the number for your stitches here. For me, I did 53 chains around, okay, and if you pay a little bit closer attention from here to here, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, about 10 rows. I didn't do any decreases. I just worked this. These are all 53 stitches, so I can have room under my armpit to move. And then after here, I was decreasing every 6 rows. I'll do a decrease and then work normal single crochet stitches when I like 5 of them, and then when I got to the 6th row, then I do a decrease, and I did that until I reached the desired length. My sleeve length minus the ribbing is 17 inches, okay, yeah, 17 inches. And then after this, I moved on to the ribbing. I just need to seam this all together, okay. So on your side, measure your armpit depth, and then you multiply that by 2, get your stitches to start your sleeve. To begin our sleeve chains, I need 53, so I am gonna make foundation single crochet and 53 of them, okay. I'm gonna start with a slip knot. This is my first chain. Okay, so I'm going to work my chains until I get to 53 chains. I got my total number of stitches. Okay, next, making sure I am not twisting my chain, I just hold it up like this, bring the ends together, and then here insert the hook on both loops. Okay, from here, making sure you are not twisting your chain, you bring both ends together. Make a slip knot to join your sleeve. Okay, going to chain 1. Some people find it very tricky as to where to put your first stitch when you work in the round. So the best thing to do is, if you have a scrap of yarn or stitch markers, just put it there so you know where your first stitch go. Okay, that's the simplest tip that I can give you, so you don't increase or decrease your stitches until you have to get to that point. After you chain 1, you make a single crochet in the same spot. Okay, and you work single crochet stitches around. So I should still have 53 stitches when I'm done this round. Counting your stitches after every round would help you keep the same amount of stitches. Okay, I am only left with 1 stitch for the second round. So let's make the last stitch together. And I have my stitch marker here, which indicates where I'm going to join this round. Insert the hook on both loops, pull up a loop and join. Chain 1, and then you turn your work. Okay, this is your first stitch. That's where it goes. Make a single crochet, and I'm going to move my stitch marker. Then move on to the third round. Single crochet throughout. My stitch marker is too short. Okay, so I'm going to continue working in the rounds for, I need total of 12 rows, just working normal stitches, and then I'll start decreasing. So we will meet on the 13th round to show you how I do decreases. It differs with every size, so just check out the description below with a pattern that would help you figure out when you can make your decreases. But we are going to do our first decrease for my sleeve. So I've got 12 rounds, so this will be my 13th round to make a decrease. Okay, I've already joined with a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and then turn my work. First chain, normal single crochet. The next 2 stitches are decreasing. When you decrease, you take away 2 stitches each time. Okay, going to pull up a loop on the first stitch, go on to the second one, insert the hook, pull up a loop. So I've got 3, yarn over, and then pull through the 3. So this is my first decrease, and then I'm going to work normal stitches until we get around here. With decreases, there's no right or wrong, so you can just stagger them around, as long as you make sure you take away 2 stitches for each round. Okay, we have 1 2 3 4 stitches left, so we are going to decrease on these 2. Pull up a loop, insert the hook on the second stitch, pull up a loop. We got 3 chains on the hook, yarn over and pull through, and then you make normal stitches on the last 2 stitches. Okay, and this is my first stitch. That's why I'm going to insert my hook to join this round. Okay, chain 1 and 10. The next 5 rounds we are not doing any decreases, so we are doing single crochet on each stitch around. So from extra small to medium, you can decrease every 6 rows, and then from large to bigger sizes you decrease every 5th row. So you'll work normal stitches for 4 times, and then on the 5th row, sorry, round, 5th round, then you make a decrease. So this is how I'm going to do my decreases. This is the first one after the decrease, so I need to have 4 more of these, and then on the 6th I decrease, and I keep doing that until I have my desired length. For me here I got 72 rows, and at the end I have a wrist circumference of 4 inches. So my wrist circumference is normally 8, so I got to 8 inches of my circumference, and then I was done. So work on that. For extra small, small, medium, you decrease every 6th row. From large to bigger sizes you decrease every 5th row. Okay, we will meet when I'm done, and then we move on to ribbing. The sleeve is done. We are moving on to ribbing, which would be like the cuff for our sleeve. Okay, I've already joined with a slip stitch. We are switching to 5mm hook for the ribbing, and then we're gonna chain 11. Okay, we're gonna start with row 1. You skip the first chain and then insert the hook on like the back bump of your chain and make a slip stitch. don't make your stitches too tight, otherwise it will be too tough to insert the hook on the second row. So we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Should have 10 stitches. And then from here, this is considered the first one. In the next two, we are making slip stitches. Slip stitch number 1, slip stitch number 2, and then you turn your work. All right, this is our first stitch. You insert the hook in the back loop, okay, and make a slip stitch. And then for the last stitch, I like to insert the hook on both loops, or the V that you see on top of each stitch. Chain 1 and turn. The first stitch again, you are inserting the hook on both loops. And then the rest of the stitches, all the 9 of them, you insert in the back loop. Remember to keep your stitches loose. I'm gonna count my stitches again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, I'm attaching my ribbing. The next stitch is this one. I'm gonna make a slip stitch. Slip stitch number 1, slip stitch number 2, and then turn. The first stitch is here. I'm gonna make a slip stitch in the back loop. And this is what you are going to do around until you get to the end of your sleeve. Insert the hook on both loops for the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Okay, I hope you You got it. The first one, you always insert the hook on both loops, and then the rest of the stitches you insert the hook on the back loop or the loop further from you. And then when you get here, you insert slip stitches in the 2 stitches and then turn your work. Make sure you count your stitches every row so you don't end up decreasing your ribbing. I made this one too tight. Okay, so I think you guys get the idea. Do this and then we will meet here to seam the ribbing together. The ribbing is done. Now it's time to seam it together. I've got my needle over here. Just gonna tighten up all the stitches. All right, there you have it. I'm just gonna weave in the ends. Then when you are done, just cut off the yarn and we're done with the sleeve. It's time to seam our shoulders together. I've already put a stitch marker here. I made sure I have the same number of rows for the back and the front, and then put on a stitch marker to put them all aligned. I have my long tail here, and let's begin seaming from here up the other side. Okay, I have the needle threaded already. If making a slip stitch to seam the shoulders together easier for you, you can do that. All right, so do both shoulders. Okay, when we are done, we're gonna move on to making pockets. It is time to add pockets for our cardigan now that we are done seaming the shoulders. I've already made one. It is done in the round using 6mm hook. The first 3 rounds are done with the same number of stitches you have for the pocket opening, which I think was 15, and then you increase few more rounds so you can have a deeper pocket. Okay, so this is the inside of your cardigan. So choose which side will be the inside, because that's the outside. You're gonna put your hand in through this way. Decide which side is the wrong side for you, or the inside for your cardigan, and then go from there. All right, we're gonna insert the hook in one of the first stitches at the bottom of our panel, and then pull up a loop, chain 1, and in the same spot make a single crochet. Okay, and then have a stitch marker just to help you figure out which is your first stitch in each round. I'm just gonna carry this so it weave in as I work my first round. I'm working single crochet at the bottom of each stitch. So I'm going to work around the stitches. This is very easy because we already have the V's on top, so all we need to do is just to put the hook on top, and then you have the first round. I have come to the end of the first round. I'm gonna remove my stitch marker, join the round with a slip stitch, and chain 1, and make single crochet on the first stitch, and then put on my stitch marker again, and I'm repeating the first round. It's single crochet around. So I'm going to do this and then one more time. I should have total of 3 rounds, and then we will meet for increases on the 4th round. I am done with the 3 rounds. We are on the 4th round. I've already done it with my slip stitch. On the very first stitch, you are going to make 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, okay, and then on the second you make a single crochet, and then on this one you make 2 single crochet stitches, and then from here on it's single crochet until you are left with 1, 2, 3 stitches to the end of the round. Okay, I got my 3 stitches left. We are going to make an increase on this stitch. Make a normal crochet on the next one, and make an increase on the last stitch. It means you get 2 stitches on the same spot. And then I'm going to remove this, join with a slip stitch, and chain 1. Okay, moving on the first stitch you make a single crochet, and then I'm gonna put my stitch marker to help me again to know where I'm starting. On the second stitch I am making an increase, 2 stitches on the same stitch, make a single crochet, make an increase on the next one, and then from here you are making single crochet on each stitch again until you have 4 stitches left. I have my 4 stitches left. On the next stitch I'm making an increase, so 2 single crochet stitches on the same stitch. The next is not an increase, just a single crochet stitch. The next we are making an increase, so 2 single crochet on the same stitch. Then on the last one we just make a normal or one single crochet stitch, and then join with a slip stitch. So far we have made 2 increases. And if you look closely, it's starting to take shape. Okay, We are making the third round of increases. I've already done the slip stitch, chain 1, and make a single crochet. Increase on the next one, a single crochet stitch on the next, increase on the next stitch. Okay, and then we are going to make a single crochet all around until we have 4 stitches left. Okay, I have my 4 remaining stitches. We are going to increase on the next stitch, no increase on this one, increase on the next stitch, no increase on the last stitch. And then make a slip stitch to join the round. Let's take a look how it looks so far. All right, so we are done with our increases. From here on, we are just making 1 stitch across. I just finished the first round of no increasing, so just normal stitches. If you take a look at this, we were making this divot. Now we are going to have this straight edge, and you need, well, these one are like 16 rounds. If you want a deeper pocket, you can keep going, but I feel like this is enough. I'm going to seam this later to have a pocket. Okay, so continue working on the rounds until you have the depth you want for your pockets. Our next step to our tutorial is to add the bottom ribbing. This is the bottom of our cardigan. We are doing the same thing that we did on the sleeves for the bottom ribbing. Going to join the yarn at one end of the panel. And chain 11. I've got 11 chains here. And the second chain from the hook, we're making a slip stitch on the back bumps. If you look closely, we have the V on top, and then at the bottom you have this bump, and that's where you insert your hook and make a slip stitch. And for the bottom ribbing, again, we are using 5mm hook like we did on our sleeves. Remember to make your stitches loose. I'm gonna tuck this one in and make the last one here. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 stitches. Okay, and then I am going to make a slip stitch on the next adjacent stitch. Let me just put this aside so it's out of the way. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So this is where I'm going to insert my first slip stitch. I'm going to turn my work and insert my slip stitch, first slip stitch in the back loop. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then for the last one I insert the hook on both loops. Chain 1 and turn. Insert the hook on both loops for the first stitch again. And make a slip stitch. So that's our first stitch. The second one, we are doing it in the back loop. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and the 10th one is tucked away in here, and 10. Okay, so our last slip stitch was here, so we have to insert the hook on this one, the next one. It's a bit tricky. There you go. Slip stitch number 1 on the next one, slip stitch number 2, and then turn our work. Try to count your stitches so you don't miss any. Normally it gets tricky, especially at the end here, where you can end up missing stitches. Then we end up having smaller and smaller ribbing. So I'm going to count so we have an idea of where to start. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So this is where I'm inserting my first stitch. Okay, slip stitch 1 2 3, slip stitch in the back loop, 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Chain 1, and you are going to do this all around, so we will meet at the other side of the panels. Okay, I am finished with the bottom ribbing. Next we are gonna have our ribbing around the collar and the front. I'm just continuing with the yarn that I had for the bottom ribbing. Chain 1. We are doing the same ribbing as the bottom one, so it's slip stitch in the back loop. Okay, the first stitch is inserting the hook on both loops, and make a slip stitch, and then the next one, make a slip stitch in the back loop. Okay, I have the 10 ribbing for the bottom. Now we are moving on to the front panel. We're still doing a slip stitch, and we are inserting the hook in the back loop as well from the front panel. I have gone through the front panel. Let's make 1 or 2 for the back panel together. Remember to make your stitches loose so that it's easier to insert your hook when you work on the second row. Okay, now this is the second front panel. You're gonna do the same thing as you did on this side, inserting the hook on the back loop. The front loops are very easy because you can see the V very clearly, so it's easier to know your back loop. So repeat this until end of the row. I am done with row 1 for the front ribbing. It gets easier from now on because we have a base. We already know what we are doing. Okay, chain 1 and turn. First stitch, you insert the hook on both loops and make a slip stitch. From here on, make a slip stitch in the back loop. There is simple. You're gonna go around again up until you get here. Make a slip stitch on both loops, okay? But if you want to make it at the back, in the back loop, that is still fine. You are going to repeat this until you have 6 more rows, so you have 8 rows in total. Or if you want a smaller or narrower ribbing, then you can stop at 6. This is the second row for me. Okay, we will meet when we are done with our front ribbing. Let's work the last few stitches for our front ribbing. I'm gonna cut the yarn. And fasten off. So here is the ribbing. It is time to attach the sleeves to the panel. This is very simple because you have the same number of stitch around, like at the beginning of your sleeve, to the with the panel. So I'm going to have the bottom of the sleeve and then attach it at the armpit. This is just to secure the sleeve so it doesn't move a lot. You should have the same number of stitches for this, which makes it easy because you just align and then just match the stitches. I have already done the sleeve, the other sleeve here, and this is what it looks like. Okay, you're going to attach, I have a yarn long tail here. I'm going to attach the yarn at the bottom of the sleeve, and then it's gonna stay in the panel. Okay, and I'm going to make a double knot. Just going to remove this so it's out of the way. So this is my first stitch from the panel, and this is my first stitch from the sleeve. I'm inserting my needles on both loops. So work both of your, attach your sleeves to your panels. I like this method because it makes it kind of seamless. It becomes invisible. So I'm gonna go around and we will meet down here. Okay, almost done. This is the last stitch. I'm just going to put everything together so there are no holes around for our sleeve and panel. And I'm just gonna weave through my ends here. And cut my yarn. I'm gonna cut this one as well. And we are done. I'm just gonna seam through these and I am going to enjoy my new cardigan. I hope you had fun making this. This is a very basic cardigan that can turn into a staple. Be sure to share the video with your friends and family, and thank you for your continued support. I will see you in the next tutorial.